What's up, YouTube? We have a beautiful day here today in Southwest Michigan, and I can't complain about the weather. It's about in the mid 40s and the maple trees are just running today. So I figure it'd be a good time to get our first boil of the season underway. This will be my second season using this Bassett Maple Co evaporator here. Got the pans pretty well cleaned and got it out of the garage and got it all set up. So today we are going to be getting this bad boy fired up. So let me go empty the last of what sap we have out at the trees, and we'll go ahead and we'll get this thing lit. Some of these trees are having a real steady drip today, which is nice. So I normally would wait until I have a little bit more sap than we're going to have today before I do my first boil, but due to the fact that the weather is going to be into the mid 50s this week, I don't want to take a chance of having some of this sap spoil before I get to the weekend. So today we're just going to go ahead and we're going to boil up what we have and just kind of make sure all of our equipment is in order. I've heard people say that you can use the trick of getting some snow together and packing it around your buckets in order to keep them from spoiling. But here we are losing snow quick, and with as long of a warm stretch as we're about to have, all the rest of what I see here is going to be gone within a few days. So I would love to use that trick to carry me through to next weekend, but I think we just got to bite the bullet and do a little boiling today. I built this reverse osmosis system just earlier this week, and I was intending to use it for this first run, but I realized that I think I need to do a little bit more homework before I just jump right into using this. There's a lot that goes into to cleaning it between runs, cleaning it at the end of the season, how to store these membranes properly so that you can use them the next year. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm just going to boil traditional for this first run, and I'm going to do some more research, and I have some cleaning and pH testing supplies that should be arriving in the mail shortly. But if any of you guys have any experience using an RO system for maple sap, please leave in the comments what you do for shutting it down in between runs, if there's anything that you do prior to starting up, and what you do at the end of your season. I'd really appreciate a little bit of advice because there's not a ton of information out there. We ended up with about just under 20 gallons worth of sap to start off with. Before we're done boiling though, I'll go back out with another bucket and just get all the trees emptied out one more time. So hopefully we'll have about another 5 gallons by the time all is said and done, make it more worth our while. So let me go ahead and get some wood around and get this evaporator ready to light up. That screened out any of the crud that we had in there, any of the organic sediment, bark, what have you, possibly bugs. So now we're gonna go ahead, and I usually just set that screen back into the bucket that it came out of, and then that's the bucket that I use to screen into next. And we will dump that in. I like to make sure that there is sap in the bottom of this pan before starting the fire. You don't want to pour sap into an already hot pan and scorch the bottom of it. Also a pro tip, you definitely want to make sure you got your valve on your pan closed. I didn't do that, but I'm sure it would be easy to forget, you know, have that open from the last time you cleaned it. So make sure that that's closed before you pour your sap in. You don't want to waste any of that. And now that we got some sap in there, I can go ahead and get this fire lit. Okay, I think that fire's getting pretty well lit, so we should be able to stoke this baby up, and it won't be long now, we'll be off to the races. We're starting to get a little bit of steam coming up off of it. That's definitely good. Let's check on the fire. Oh yeah, we're gonna be able to go ahead and throw a couple more logs in there and get it nice and stoked up. So at the end of the season last year, I should have probably did a better job taking care of this unit. What I did was I kind of just put it into the barn here, and then just recently dug it back out in order to get ready for this season. Blew it off with a leaf blower and everything, but it's still a little bit grimy looking on the outside. It'll still boil just fine, but I think what I'm going to do at the end of this season is I'll probably power wash it off. I'll get some touch-up paint, and I'll get the spots on the paint job that need to be touched up, and then I'm probably going to put a bag over this, because storing it in just a barn, it had a tendency to get really dusty and full of cobwebs. So just in the spirit of making it easier on myself next year, and also just taking a little bit of pride in what I own, I'm going to go ahead and try and do a little bit better and take good care of it at the end of this season. I can feel the heat radiating off of this from here. I mean, I'm like probably 3.5 feet away from this, and I can just feel the heat just coming right off it. So this would be a great time if you have any wood that's wet to kind of like heap it up around there. A couple years ago I had quite a bit of wet wood, and I just kind of put it all around the stove, and then I ran this thing hard for about a day and a half, and man, it dried that wood out really good. That is getting really close to boiling. Every now and again I'm just seeing just a little gurgle on the surface. Any minute now that's gonna start to go ahead and bubble up on us. Oh, that steam smells so good, especially as it gets really concentrated down. The steam starts to smell very sweet. There we go. First boil is officially underway. Ooh, lens is steaming up there. Yeah. All right, let's see what that fire looks like now. Oh yeah, we're good to go. Now that's what I would call a rolling boil. That looks really nice. And I'm now just realizing that I've got to locate my skimmer tool, because I have a lot of the foam that's starting on the top of this, and I want to be able to get that off of there and have more surface area of open sap for the evaporation to take place. That foam on there will slow down your evaporation rate. This is just a skimmer for getting fried goods out, but seems to work just fine for that. I go ahead and just get as much of that out as I can from time to time, and then just kind of cast it off to the side over there. We have a pretty decent evaporation going. Here shortly I'll get the last bucket dumped into here, and then we'll go back out to the trees, collect what we've accumulated since we've emptied them last, and then we'll be in the home stretch. Hopefully that'll be in time for me to get a decent night's sleep, because I've got to be into work kind of early tomorrow. We are maintaining a really great boil right now, so I am really pleased with that. I love this Bassett Maple Co. evaporator here. It's my second year using it, and I'm really pleased with it. A nice Michigan-made evaporator if you want to check them on out. And I just cleared out the last of what was at the trees, and we ended up with about another 3.5 gallons there. So I'm going to screen this on out, get it into the warming pan, and hopefully we'll be finishing up right around the time the sun goes down. I got a nice 22-gallon stainless steel pot from the store today, and I'm really excited to start using that. That way I'm not competing for the regular use kitchen pots that I have. I have a couple of stainless steel pots in the kitchen, but I had to use both of them usually to do the maple syrup. So I got one really big one today, and that's what we're going to put these concentrates into. We'll store them in the fridge, and then I will boil that down into finished syrup at a later point in the kitchen in a more controlled environment later on. I had such an aggressive boil going, I had to crack the door a little bit to keep it from boiling over. Got just a little bit left in this warming tray here, and then we're going to be taking that warming tray off and getting more surface area to evaporate. You kind of get some condensation that builds up on the warming tray, and it kind of drips back down in, and then it's just got to be steamed off again. So you really speed things up once you can get the warming tray off of there. Warming tray is off, and we are in the final phase of this first boil. I would say we've probably got about another 45 minutes or so left before I take this off. By the time I get it off of here, the color will be significantly darker. And what I've done over here is I've set up some sawhorses with just a piece of plywood, and I'm going to set this over here onto there, and then I'll set up probably a 5-gallon bucket with a piece of cardboard or something on the top with my stainless steel pot on it, and we'll just go ahead and we'll drain that from the ball valve into that pot. And I have this, I'll show you when we get to that point, but I have this cone filter thing that'll go over the top of the pot, and it'll filter all the sediment out of that as we put it into the pot, and then that'll go into the fridge for the night, and then I will go to sleep. Smoke, smoke, smoke that cigarette. We're running her nice and hot now. I had babied it for a little bit, which is why it's all the way dark now. I wanted to get a few things washed up in the house and get a few things around, so I definitely let it die down just a little bit so it didn't boil over on me. But you can see that color is darker now, and we're down to just about maybe an inch to an inch and a half in the pan. So here very, very shortly, I'm going to be putting it up on there, and I've already got my pot over there ready to receive all of this concentrated maple syrup. Well, it's not quite syrup yet, concentrated sap. We'll finish it up and turn it into syrup in the house later this week. I just pulled it off of the stove and I reduced it down quite a bit. I've got it kind of tilted up on the side here to angle it towards the drain valve. So I'm gonna let this kind of steam off for a minute, get a little bit more of that moisture, get a little bit more of that water out of there, and then we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna take that pot there and we're gonna drain into it. And it won't look like a lot. That pot's gonna look like overkill for the amount that I have here, but as the season goes on and I'm boiling more and more, that pot will be very appropriately sized. Well, looks like I timed it pretty good. I let most of the wood burn off, that way I didn't have a whole bunch of wood left in there when I pulled the pan. So guess I was fairly efficient in that regard. It is still steaming a little bit, but I think what we'll do is we'll go ahead and we'll start draining it. I don't want it to get too cool because then it'll actually go through the filter harder. So let's go ahead and crack that valve and just let that go ahead and run through. We have a beautiful amber concentrate here. There is not very much in the bottom of that pan, which is fine by me. We boiled it down quite a bit, so it won't take too long to finish up on the stove. My first batch of the year is almost always the lightest of all the batches, and this year will definitely be no exception. I can tell just by looking at it that this is going to be a nice light amber syrup, and I am sure it's going to be very delicious. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please consider hitting that like button and consider becoming a subscriber to the channel. When I'm not doing maple syrup, when the weather gets a little bit warmer, I'm going to be getting out and doing some Michigan gold prospecting and metal detecting. I'll also have some more maple syrup content this season as well. So thank you so much for watching. We'll see you in the next video.